So, full disclosure, Evangelion is my favorite media, um, and the dub is my version of choice. I never watched the sub because I wouldn't enjoy it as much. So why would I? And I am extremely attached to the old dub, despite its myriad flaws. It is definitely not aged the best. Um, but it's so inextricably tied to uh, my perceptions of the show, which means a lot to me. Um, so, I still fucking love it. And so when I heard that Netflix was redoing the dub, because I guess the licensing is fucked up, because fucking I don't know. Uh, my expectations were low. I was not expecting a lot, but I was still interested to see what it would be like. And so this review is mostly going to be me, whining and complaining that it's different and not as good, because that's just kind of my relationship with the show at this point. Um, so if you're not into that, just the on its own merits, I think it's a pretty good dub. I mean, I've only watched 12 episodes of it, but I think that's a fair amount to watch to judge dub on. Especially Ava's case, all the main characters are introduced at this point. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think it's above average. I'd give it a B. Um, on the grading scale. So yeah, if that's all you wanted to know how it is on its own, it's pretty good. Watching it dubbed, not a bad idea. But as for the nostalgia goggles, fucking, it's not the same as the old one part. Let's do that shit. So when Netflix announced that they wouldn't be bringing back any of the original voice actors, that was upsetting to me, especially in the case of Shinji, because Spike Spencer as Shinji Ikari is, for my money, probably one of the better protagonist dub performances, at least in terms of how memorable it is, how iconic it is, I guess. Because and again, this is probably fucking just because I'm a big bitch that just watches the dub, and I watched it a lot. My perception of the character is pretty defined by that voice acting. I think it rides the line very well between being whiny, being kind of sassy when at the points in the show when Shinji is sassy. I think it's just a really good performance, despite the occasional awkward delivery and stuff that occurs sometimes with Shinji. But yeah, my expectations for Shinji's replacement were pretty low. I'm like, okay, they're bringing in Sam Riegel to voice Shinji. That was about my expectations. Shinji's replacement is good but different, which obviously means it's worse. It's a bit cuter than his voice is a bit cuter than the old dub, which to me ruins the delicate balance of Shinji's character and makes him too likable. But on the whole, I'd say Shinji's replacement guy, pretty good. Sometimes his screams are a little too screechy. It was like wee, like that kind of shit. Sometimes, and I can imagine for some of the more dramatic moments later on in the show, that'll be a little awkward. But that's not a big deal. Ray is, she never talks. Pretty much just like a sound alike that they got. Nothing really to say there. Asuka, I would say, is a straight downgrade. Because Asuka is like the other made big voice actor that they replaced, and I'm like, they really shouldn't, because it's you're not gonna find anyone better for that. And this one, I think I'm much less blinded by by my passion for the old dub for, because the new one, she sounds like she's 10 years old. Her delivery is like kind of weird sometimes. Doesn't speak German as well. Like in fucking episode 8, when she first gets in her Evangelion, she's like fucking. She's having a real hard time pronouncing the goddamn German. But yeah, other than that, like on its own, pretty good. Not bad, but not nearly as good as old Asuka. Misato, pretty much the same. Again, kind of a sound alike actually to the original voice actress. But honestly, this is an improvement, because Masato was kind of the worst offender of the, just bad ADR, just like awkward line delivery shit in the old dub. She would do that quite a bit, but in this one they did a lot better job in that department, and so I'd say that one's probably an upgrade, I would say, I guess, technically. Ritsuko is also kind of worse, I would say. Her voice is way too young sounding. She does not sound like an almost middle-aged woman, which, is pretty, like, central to her character. So, yeah, I don't know about that one. Fucking Toji. They got my boy Johnny Young Bosch to play fucking Toji. That's just kind of weird, honestly. Like, I don't have any particular positive or negative feelings about it, other than it being my boy. And Kensuke, I have a great fondness for Kensuke's old performance in the dub. But, the new one is more standard. But, it's not bad. Gendo. Gendo is also a straight downgrade. Gendo's original voice acting in Evangelion is the only one that is, like, not subject to any, awkward old dub awkwardness. And his voice is fucking awesome. And the new one is just not as good. It's not as cool. This is objective. This is not at all, like, blinded by anything. This is objectively true, that his new one is much shittier than his old one. It's just nowhere near as good. I'm sorry. Other than that, Kaji, I don't like as much in the dub. His voice is kind of like weird and deep. He's too much trying to be like a cool guy, which I really liked about the old dub of Kaji, is that he's just kind of like, hey, it's me, hey, Kaji, hey, whoa. And the new one's like, hey, it's me, Kaji. You know what I'm saying? All the bridge rats or whatever the fuck. Fucking Alba and Hyuga and Ibuki, pretty whatever. They made Hyuga sound like even more of an Omega nerd, which I think is pretty funny. He goes like, Major Katsuragi. Talks like fucking that. That's pretty funny. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I will say, actually, there are other aspects of the dub than just comparing what the voice actors sound like. The script I actually like in general. There's lots of, like, places in the show where I've noticed just, like, the characters will add, like, they'll give a bit more of insight into, like, the themes of the show, I guess, than they did in the old one. Which I don't mind. I don't think it's in, like, a hand-holdy, spoon-feedy way. I think it just kind of like makes it more apparent that the themes are there, which I don't think is bad. There are a couple of places where they like cut out lines that I really fucking love, and that are like really memorable to me. The first one was fucking like Ray 1 or whatever, where Ritsuko is like, I guess Ray is just like your dad, Shinji. She's just awkward. And Shinji's like, awkward at what? In the original, she goes, at living, I guess. And then in the new dub, she just goes, at life. Which is a subtle difference, to be sure. But I think the second one is just objectively worse. It just sounds dumber and less profound and cool. Yeah, just bad. I don't know why you would change that line, honestly. And then the other big one that stood out to me as just being like, why would you change this to something shittier? Was this line that I would consider iconic because I'm able to fucking remember the original line from it. Is on Magma Diver when Asuka's mad about not getting to go on the school trip. And she's like, aren't you mad too, Shinji? And Shinji's like, I've given up. I don't even care. And then the old dub, she goes, there's nothing worse than a housebroken male. Which, is just like kind of a funny thing to say. And then in the new one, she just goes, there's nothing worse than a subservient male. It's like, well, you just put it in literal terms. This thing that was already kind of funny and goofy in the original dub. And you just made it like a literal translation. Thank you for that. Also, I actually forgot about this. There is one thing, or technically a couple things, I guess, in this dub that actually make me just... They don't make me mad. I'm not actually mad. It just irks me every time I hear it. They pronounce it nerve. They go like... Yeah, we're heading to Nerve Central Base. It's fucking nerve. God damn it. Like, I get that fucking... The Japanese pronunciation is probably nerve because they don't know how to speak English. But fucking what? I hate when fucking anime does that. When like in the fucking original Japanese script, they're like, "Hey, we're going for this English speaking thing." Like with fucking Gurren Lagann, the main character's name is Simon the Driller, but the characters pronounce it Simone because they're Japanese and they pronouncing Simon is difficult. And then in the dub, they just call him Simone as well, even though his name is just Simon. It's fucking stupid. And this one as well is just dumb. Like, it's not nerve. That's not a thing. Nerve is nothing. It's nerve. Pronounce it nerve, please. And also, there was that one, and also the fact that they called them, like, fucking Rei, Shinji, and Asuka are the first, second, and third children. Rei's the first child, Asuka's the second child, Shinji's the third child. Not in the new fucking dub. In the new dub, Rei is the first children. It's fucking... Like, they call the individuals children. I don't understand it. It might be that way originally in, the Japanese version. But I don't give a shit. Because it sounds stupid, and it's awkward, and it's dumb. And why would you put that in? Like, here's the thing. Originality doesn't mean jack diddly shit. Or, like, sticking to the original version of the script, I mean, for, like, a dub. Like, sticking to the Japanese original. Doesn't mean diddly shit if the original is awkward or bad in English. Like, I don't care. That's not what your goal is, to make something that is good on its own, not something that is, the same as the Japanese version. At the detriment of quality. That's a pretty nitpick, though. It just kind of irks me whenever I hear them say that. Which is a lot, to be honest. They say nerve a lot. And they say the first children a lot. But, whatever. It's no big deal. No big deal. I'm not mad. I am kind of curious, though, to see whether they will keep I'm So Fucked Up in the end of Evangelion. That would be funny to see. But yeah, like I said, on its own, it's really not that bad. But comparatively, even comparatively, like, it does take out like a lot of the awkward shit from the dub. So honestly, on the whole, it's probably good. But I will never prefer it because that's just, like I said, that's just how it is. So thanks for watching, anime fans. Leave a like, hit the subscribe, share this video to r/anime. Let's get this shit trending #1 worldwide. Stay awesome, bros.